Hello and welcome to Odyssey Motorsport TV's coverage of the Tuesday night main event for the Kansas City Racing League Season 9, Round 4, presented by DLB Precision. I'm TJ Yankee, and with me in the broadcast booth, as always, is Lesean Young-Dilworth. How are you doing tonight, Els?
How we doing, TJ? I'm doing the best that I can do today. It's been a little bit of a rough day, but how are you doing, TJ?
Oh, I'm good. Just trying to stay warm up here in the Motor City. It is cold. I got an icicle on my front porch that's a good 4 feet long. And snows everywhere. It's just it's quite cold. But tonight's race is round 4 of season 9 of the Kansas City Racing League's Tuesday night main event in the GTE car. We are in the land of the rising sun, Fuji Speedway, with no chicane in that final sector. It's a 2.7 mile circuit with 16 corners. That front pit straight is over a mile in length. So we're going to see some drafting and overtaking maneuvers from our drivers into turn 1, which is a really low speed right-hand hairpin. The final sector is incredibly challenging, tight, twisty, technical. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers either lock up or go wide. It's really where your lap is going to be made or broken. So what's your take on Fuji, Els?
That's a good question, TJ. I actually just bought this track. I don't really know much about it. I've seen, YouTube videos and whatnot, but it is a very challenging track as far as, the long straight, good chances for opportunities for passing into turn 1 and some other opportunities throughout the track. So we're going to see some good racing tonight.
Yeah, I think so as well. This is one of the first tracks that I did an endurance race on, so I do know it very well. I can say that final sector specifically, if some of these drivers are on a single monitor, you can't see the apex of the corner. So those who have triple monitors are going to have a slight advantage, and those without are going to have a disadvantage. So it's a very tough, tight sector, a lot of sharp hairpins, first gear corners, especially that final one onto the main 1 mile long straight is just so crucial to get a good drive out of that so you can have the speed going down the end of the straight there. So with tonight's round back to a normal size track, we may see the return of the safety car deployments, which is always a little bit of chaos thrown into the order. So we do have an update from Dakota. No safety car in the first and last 10 minutes, and 2 cars have to be involved in the same incident and both tow for a safety car to be deployed. So what do you think of that, Els? You looking forward to the safety cars coming back?
I am looking forward to the safety cars. I mean, that's a reasonable adjustment for this type of league. We've seen in the past, safety cars coming out and kind of ruining the flow of the race, and the guys losing their lead and whatnot. But now we're going to see some more racing, more green flag racing, and less of safety car slowness. So that's a good adjustment.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's a good balance to keep the field green under the green flag as much as possible, but also adding in that realism for safety cars as if it would be in real life. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really great. So let's go ahead and talk about our league sponsor. So our Kansas City Race League is the main event is brought to you by DLB Precision. Everyone knows that your sim racing rig is never really complete. A new wheelbase, better pedals, a new set of monitors with a higher refresh rate. None of it will matter if you don't have a PC that can run that hardware to its full potential. Head over to dlbprecision.com. Every PC is handpicked and assembled to the highest standard. They are started up, tuned, and stress tested before being delivered. So the people over at DLB Precision are sim racers themselves. So this is not a PC built by a normal gaming company or a marketing firm. They run what they build, and they know the ways to tune your PC to run your sim title of choice with no stutters, no crashes, and bespoke to your needs. So if you're in the market for a sim PC or an update to your current PC, check out dlbprecision.com. A link will be in the description below. So with this being the 4th round of the championship, let's go ahead and look at the Pro and Am standings real quick. So going off the pro standings, first place Michael Rhodes, second place Blaze Scheid, third place Kyle Shook, fourth place Drake Smith, Andrew Lanning is fifth, sixth is Matt Stallcup, Neil Salata in seventh, Mark Blizzard in eighth, ninth is Zachary Lewis, 10th David Lestow, 11th David Woods, and 12th Caden Parks Miller. Els, why don't you go ahead and take away our AM standings?
And in the GTE AM, we have Nate Hallisek in first place, Jacob Winslow in second, Xavier Page in third, Glenn Pino in fourth, Brian Froh in fifth, Ash Harper in sixth. Seventh place we have Jeremiah Sodden, Eighth place we have Daniel Nicholson. Ninth place Lance Shellhorn. 10th place Zach Williams. 11th place Justin Elliott Road. 12th place, we have Franklin Edwards.
All right, so real quick, we're going to jump to the schedule. This is round 4 at Fuji Speedway. The next couple rounds, we're going to have the Nürburgring Ring next week, the Grand Prix circuit. Watkins Glen is round 6. Round 7 is Sebring International Raceway, and round 8 is Donington Park. 2 drops for this, so the top 6 races will be counted. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the onboard earlier today. So this is me in the Corvette GTE heading down that super long straight. We're going to take you all the way around Fuji Speedway with no chicanes. So as you can see, we are going for a long time in that front straight. You can see on the map there. You're going to hit the brakes right at the 125 mark all the way down late into first gear. You want to hug that right inside, get a good drive out of that first corner. Now you're going to head over to Coca-Cola corner. So this is an interesting corner here. Right before the 50 board, you're going to tap the brakes, drop down gear, throw the car to the left. It will go to the right, but if you throw it in good enough, you'll be fine. This 100R is 100 meter radius, so it's pretty tight. You go into 4th gear, you got to drop down to 3rd to stay to the right for this left-hander into the hairpin. This is turn 6. Once again, you want to hug that inside, get the good drive out of that left-hand corner. And now you're on to the 300R, turn 8, turn 9, and you're coming up to Dunlop corner, which this is where the chicanes would be if they were on this layout, but they're not. So right-hander, fast right-hander, and now is that final sector that's super hard. So you got a slow speed right-hander that's going to take you uphill to the left, and now you got to slow down again, back down into 1st gear. Look how tight this corner is. See the sausage curves on the right? You hit those, you're going to bounce around, and then this is the final corner, which, like you can see here in a single screen, you can't see the apex when you turn in. So down to 1st gear, hard on the throttle, all the way down that super long straight. You can't even see the end of it in this onboard. I think our lap times that we're looking at right now, pro Drake Smith is at a 131.8. I put in a 133.47, which once again is going to be good enough for the upper portion of the AM field. So we have a special guest with us tonight. I'm going to pull in Dakota Knapp real quick. Hey Dakota, thank you so much for joining us tonight. What updates do you have for Kansas City Racing League?
Oh boy, a bunch, TJ. So like you covered earlier, the full course yellow, we really wanted to change that process to reserve the green flag racing. Over the past couple weeks, we've seen a lot of really nice, clean, respectful battles, and we want to preserve that. We don't want to, throw the full course yellow in and just totally ruin the flow, like Lesean was saying. So that's really what sparked the move to change the trigger for full course yellow and reserving the beginning opening race, the first 10 minutes of race time.
Sure.
That's the main change there. And then on the, I don't know if we have the numbers available, but as far as in the game, all of the drivers are able to see the vehicle numbers. So we've got a vehicle number change as well. So the drivers can more easily tell when somebody is in the AM class or the pro class. That way they can manage traffic. If they have a good safe space to let somebody by, they can. That way they can, stay out of each other's hair and really focus on preserving that racing.
Well, that's awesome. That's one of the awesome things about this league, having a live race control and someone who runs the league that is constantly tweaking it for the betterment and the better enjoyment of the drivers. So thank you so much, Dakota. That's absolutely awesome. We got about a minute left to qualifying, but it tends to run about 2 to 3 minutes after that timer's done. Anything else you wanted to add to that?
I've been really enjoying the season so far. I think we've got a lot of really respectful drivers. I love the broadcast. It's very well put together, and I'm looking forward to next week.
All right. Thank you so much, Dakota. Appreciate you stopping by, and we'll let you get back to race control and take over your control panel there and keep these drivers in line.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Again, that was Dakota Knapp, the creator of the Kansas City Race League and your head of race control. We have Linda Barkley, Brett Marshall, and I don't see him in here today. So it's just Linda Barkley and Brett Marshall are also helping with race control with Dakota Knapp. So huge thanks to them for putting this on. It's just so awesome to have a live race control and it really allows that more realism again. Els. Dakota, I've been racing with Dakota for pretty much as long as I've been on iRacing. It used to be RFR, which stood for Real Fake Racing. That was the name of the league. About 3 seasons ago, switched to the Kansas City Race League. Really great group of guys. Real, not really sweaty. And the guys, as we've seen this season, that are getting sweaty, they're keeping it respectful, and it's an enjoyment to broadcast and enjoying to watch.
I definitely agree with you, TJ. These guys are putting on a show. Every single new track that they get on in these GTEs, they're putting on a show. They're definitely getting out there and showing us that they can drive. And we're also seeing other people who can't drive. You know, some people getting off the track, and it happens.
Absolutely.
So,
and I was just going to say, with the division, it's from the pro and am class. And adding those number designations for the drivers to know that it is essentially 2 races going on at once. So, there's a bunch of different skill levels on here. So the guys in the pro class, they are getting quite sweaty and close and keeping it respectful. And then the guys in the AM class are cutting their teeth. Maybe it's their first league that they're in. So I think there's a little bit for everyone here.
Definitely agree with you, TJ. There's a lot of skill gap here between, the AM and the pro. The pro guys are definitely showing their pace. Definitely.
Absolutely. As I said, Drake Smith with a 131.844. That's your pole position time in the pro class. AM class, Cassie Hempy. I guess that's Miss Cassie Hempy. 132.9. So a very quick lap. That's a second and a half quicker than my lap. Granted, I only put in about 8 laps here, but still, we got pace at the front of the AM class. We got pace in the pro class. And like I said, there's maybe some other guys that are just joining for a league for the first time and getting, this all under their belt. So awesome for them to be able to experience the live race control and just kind of the chill nature of this league. It's just so fun it was really fun to participate in. And I'm just absolutely ecstatic that we get to broadcast it. So with that being said, we are now switching over to the race session. So we will bring up the grid. So round 4 at Fuji Speedway, no chicanes. Drake Smith once again on pole. He was out last week at Circuit de la Sarthe, but it was like he wasn't even gone. So he's back on pole with a 131.844. Matt Stallcup right up there in second on the front row. Andrew Lanning in third, and Miss Casey Hempy in fourth.
And in 5th place, we have Blaze Shield. 6th place, we have Mark Blizzard. 7th place, we have Xavier Page. And 8th place, we have Jacob Winslow. My feed's a little blurry. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I'll change that over to you real quick. 9th place is going to be Brian Froh. Howard Rawlings in 10th. Ash Harper is in 11th. And Nate Hollistick is in 12th. Let me change that feed over for you so you can see it a little bit better, Els, and I will bump those over to 13th.
13th place, we have Emil Toe. 14th place, we have Glenn Pino. 15th place, we have Kyle Shook. 16th place, we have Jeremiah Sodden. 17th place, we have Lance Shellhorn. 18th place, we have Franklin Edwards. 19th place, we have Mike Corinne. Excuse me.
Yep, and that is the end of the drivers there. Yep. Yep, Mike Corin is the last driver. So if you want to go ahead and read off the race control, and you can even read off yourself there if you like.
Oh, really? Okay. Race control, we have Dakota Knapp, the one and only Dakota Knapp. Race control, again, we have Brett Marshall. And myself, Lesean Young-Dilworth in 22nd. I'm just here for the safety rating. And in 23rd, we have race control, Linda Barkley.
All right, so the grid is set. We're going to jump up to Drake Smith up at the front. We're going to jump to the blimp cam and turn on our track map there. So you can see it is a short parade lap. It is quite foggy out there. You can barely see them from the blimp, Els.
Oh, man. I wonder how much that's going to affect them in the race. I don't necessarily think so. This guy's got the headlights on, but we'll see. We're about to go green flag here in a little bit.
I'm going to see if I can pull up the weather real quick. I think there is. Yeah, the weather. So it is 68 degrees, 95% humidity. That explains that fog. So as they are coming around, they have one more hairpin corner. We'll jump back to, since it's so foggy, we'll jump back to the TV view. Come around that final corner. They got a long way until the start finish line. So we will see when Drake Smith leads the field away to the green flag, as this is round 4 of the Kansas City Race League presented by DLB Precision.
Like already.
No, they shouldn't be. The safety car is still there. Oh, somebody went a little early. It is an incredibly long straight, and I imagine the nerves are just absolutely on edge there with how long of that's got to be under the safety car pace, as we still don't see the green flag yet. Drake is leading them slowly, and I think they're away. Yep, they are going now. Green flag is out. We're green flag racing in the round 4 at Fuji Speedway. Drake Smith covers off the inside, and 3 wide for first position. Oh goodness, Andrew Lanning's going to take, and that Ford GT is going to take both of them. Both Matt Stallcup and Drake Smith. What a move into turn 1 as they go single file for the top 4 as they head into Coca-Cola. What a move by Andrew Lanning. Oh, man. Cold tires.
Start.
Oh.
Cold tires. I guess Drake Smith was a little bit shooken up by the false start there. So he's going to have to make some positions up here. And you could see him already on the Porsche, ready to get on him.
Absolutely.
Don't know if he's going to be able to make it.
Right on that rear bumper. Got another corner that is going through here. Now we're starting that. He takes to the inside. Oh gosh, man, this is. They got a lot of brass going through that, going over those sausage curbs just a little bit. Didn't seem to upset the car. Cold tires. You see a little puff of smoke from that Porsche as he locks up. A lot of elevation change, especially under the cold tires. No ABS in these cars, and no tire changes. So the more lockups they have by the end of the race, their tires are going to be shot. What an opening sector from Andrew Lanning, but Drake Smith is on the hunt. He's on the hunt back for first place. Wow.
I believe, TJ, the M8 has a little bit more top end than the Ford GT, as we saw in the twisties.
Oh boy, here we go.
We're seeing now.
Oh no, he gets into the back of him. He gets into the back of him. Oh no. Oh, there's another car going off there. Goodness gracious, that's Jacob Winslow. Oh, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Oh my goodness, we're going to have to go back and take a look at that. I don't know if anyone towed. We have 2 meatballs from Glenn Pino and Nate Hallistick. Oh my goodness, that all started with Drake Smith getting into the back of Andrew Lanning, unfortunately.
That started with a bang.
It sure did.
We got drivers talking to race control now, and it seems to be a little bit of confusion. We're looking to see if there's going to be a safety car here in a little bit, but as of right now, race control is reviewing the incident.
Absolutely. Matt Stallcup, the winner of that situation that happened. He was on the far inside. Drake Smith was on the outside in second, fighting for first position, and he got into the back of Andrew Lanning. So that is unfortunate for Andrew. But as we got we got 3 wide going down that front stretch, and again, the length of this front stretch, it is so long that the draft, I think that's just what happened. He didn't have any downforce because he was in the draft. Oh, a little bit of contact there going down into the first corner. What's going to happen here? Lesean Young-Dilworth's going to take the inside, a little bit more contact.
Oh, these guys must be under some stress now. They're probably upset, but we're going to see some more battling here.
Blaze Scheid still second place in the pro class. Andrew Landing trying to make up for getting tapped in the rear end going into turn 1. So he's still in a podium position as he looks to the inside, going through the hairpin, but tucks back in behind. Let's see if they are able to, if he's able to make a move. Yeah, Matt Stallcup has got almost a 5-second gap. He has definitely taken advantage of that incident into turn 1 and just went off into the distance so far. Let's see if they can reel him in with some drafting. Maybe if they bump draft each other instead of trying to fight so much, they might be able to reel him in, but we'll see what happens when they get on that front straight. Once again, it's very difficult. I had a hard time getting the brakes pretty steady in this sector right here. And again, this is where the lap time can be, absolutely kneecapped if you don't take the corners right or if you lock up. So here we go down the front straight. Andrew Lanning on the rear bumper of Blaze Scheid. We're going to see that Ford GT reel in that BMW with the draft, unless Andrew has some damage. I think if we remember correctly, go ahead.
I'm getting a little bit of contact from race control. We have a couple black flags on the field. Drake Smith, Emil Toe, and Howard Rollings, all black flags. So they might have to go in to the also Lance Shellhorn also have to go into the pits for possibly a hold.
Okay. It's good to know. I think if you remember at Road Atlanta, as Andrew Lanning goes through the inside into second place on Blaze Scheid on the hairpin. If you remember that Ford GT, remember it had such a better time in the corners, but it could not reel the other cars in on the straights. So I think we kind of deduced that, he gets a little bit airborne there going through that sector. I think the Ford GT just is able to make up this time in the twisty bits, but on the straight, it's going to be a sitting duck here. We'll see if Blaze Scheid can reel in Andrew Lanning here as he made that move into the hairpin. Ooh, he goes wide there. That's not going to help him. Let's see if that gap. Go ahead.
We're seeing the strength of the Ford GT right now.
Yeah, that final sector being so twisty, man. It is that Ford GT is definitely tearing it up. But Mark Blizzard has actually reeled in Blaze Scheid, but that was probably because he went a little wide in the penultimate corner there. Oh, he just pulls aside. Look how much of a gap was made up down that front straight. Little pop of smoke from both of the cars in first and second place. Blaze Scheid, Andrew Lanning do a slight lockup as Mark Blizzard's on the attack now. He's moved up into third. Ooh. Again, I wonder if the high humidity has any effect with it, or if it's just the BMWs are struggling in the corner sections, but they make it all up on that straight. So we'll see if Andrew's able to pull a big enough gap to stay far ahead. You saw him dive to the inside to defend turn 1. And he was able to make it work, but with both cars locking up, I think nobody had the advantage. All right, we're into that final twisty sector here. Lots of low-speed corners where the mechanical grip, and if there is a little bit of downforce, that's going to help you.
You see the Ford GT just getting away. Like,
yeah,
it's clear.
All right, let's see what happens going down this straight here. So that is Miss Cassie Hempy Cassie Hempy in that Ford GT. That's the first position of the AM class, so that is not going to affect Mark Blizzard in the standings at all, but it might slow him down as now you got two GTs nose to tail. And this is the point where we've seen that they are stronger, is in that non-straight portion of the track. So let's see what happens with the gap here. Well, that's the other thing that's really awesome about Dakota is he will, if somebody is clearly needs to be in the pro class, they will get promoted up, and that way they can actually battle, because right now Cassie would be third in the pro class.
we might see a promotion for her.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
absolutely.
she's been pushing this entire through qualifying and all the way up to now. We'll see what the end result might be.
Absolutely. We're gonna see what happens down that long straight. See if Mark Blizzard utilizes the draft off of that Ford GT and that clear straight line power that the BMW has to overtake Cassie on the front straight going into turn 1, or maybe it's just Andrew has an extra high downforce setup. I'm not sure. All right, here we go. Yep, look at that. That gap is just gone so fast.
On the inside now, that mate just has that power.
Absolutely. But, oh, I guess. Oh, no, a little bit of contact into turn 1 on the rear quarter panel, but they both salvage it together. Nobody getting off. That's going to have...
It looks like the other BMW just made up for that.
Yep. So that's
Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze Scheid is took advantage of them battling and is into 3rd position in the pro class.
And that's how you get rewarded for patience right there. Just waiting for something to happen. Just took advantage.
So I had a notification that Matt Stallcup crashed. So let's see what's going on with Matt. As Andrew Lanning, he's only 1 3/4 second behind now. That is a back marker in between them. Well, once they get onto the straight, I will play that replay real quick. It said Matt Stallcup crashed. Let's see what happened here. Oh, what a save. That's gonna tear up his tires, but that explains why that gap is so far down. But
hey,
again,
it was at least stylish.
Yeah, it was very stylish. And that's not an easy thing to do in the Porsche with the rear engine being, or the engine being over that rear axle. That was a heck of a save by him. Once again, you see on the front straight, he's just able to kind of pull a gap on Andrew Lanning. So we're going to jump back to Ash Harper and Franklin Edwards as we got less than a second between these two. Or sorry, Jacob Winslow is in front of him in the Ford GT. As this group of cars is the closest together on track. It's Brian Froh. And another BMW. We got a Ferrari in there. That's Howard Rawlings. He's a lap down. He was involved in an off-track excursion. And Mike Corrin has a black flag. So I think he probably has, over the 11 incidents, he might have to do a drive-through.
Yeah, no contact from race control as far as the black flag. So it might have been self-inflicted.
We're going to jump back up to our leaders because it's almost under a half second. But look at that gap in the top left of your screen. It just gets bigger and bigger on that front straight, and then Andrew tries to reel him in through pretty much the rest of the track. So we're going to see the delicate balance that these two leaders are going to have to try to dance around. With Andrew just losing out on that straight horrifically. I mean, it was a quarter of a second. He was within a half a second, and it went all the way up almost to 8/10 of a second by the time they hit turn 1. So you can see now it's already getting close to a half second, just over.
I imagine if Andrew Lanning does get ahead of Matt Stallcup, there will have to be a good amount of lead because of the long straight in the end for there to be actual.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I mean that, oh God, once again, getting airborne, taking a lot of that curb. As he takes a look up the inside, once again, we said that the Ford GT is just, they both slide a little bit. Ford GT just has a little bit better downforce, or at least his setup does. But I'm sure to Matt's happiness here, he's going to be going down that front straight, and with him not being behind him to get the draft. Oh, there he goes. He already drops back behind him. We'll see if Matt, if he's close enough to actually utilize that draft, or if that gap's going to grow. And it's not growing as much as it did the previous lap, but it is still going up. He was within a tenth and a half, and it's already up to a half second. That is crazy.
Ford GT must definitely be running high downforce to be having that much of a disadvantage down the straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, I mean, the other thing you got to think about with Andrew Lanning, as we saw in that final sector, with him battling Matt Salkup, he was sliding around a little bit. So if he isn't careful, he could use up all his tires, and then that advantage he has is gone in the twisty bits, and then Matt Salkup might just be able to go off into the distances. We've got a Corvette there sitting on the outside. That's Lance Shellhorn. He's got a black flag, and he is stopped. He's just waiting for everyone to go by. We'll jump back up to the leaders real quick. See what happens. Oh, look at the pillars lit up in that Ford GT. That looks so awesome.
That really does. That really does.
Oh, a little bit of contact there as they're going into the final corner. Andrew sliding all over the place. I hope he didn't burn his tires up. He goes very wide in the final corner.
Yeah, I think he's taking a beating on those tires. See him swirling around on every corner exit now.
Yep, and I mean, we're only a third of the way into this race session, and they will have to stop for fuel, but there's no tire changes, so these tires got to last them to the end of the race. With a couple lockups and a couple aggressive moves, that Ford GT already sliding around, he might lose his advantage on pretty much the rest of the lap that the Ford GT seems to have. That gap is starting to come down once again. Not quite as quick as it was the previous lap. Actually, no, I take that back. It's coming down quite a bit. So, I mean, all it takes is one small mistake for Matt Salkup, and then Andrew Lanning is going to be right there to capitalize. But we'll see what happens. Is Andrew definitely seems to be able to have, I mean, when he's not sliding, he has a huge advantage through these corners.
Oh, those lights on the livery
they really pop.
Really cool.
They really pop. I mean, I always thought that kind of rear, like I think they call it a buttress kind of style rear quarter panel looked cool to begin with, but to add the lighting in the inside, oh, that is fantastic. Just want to jump real quick after turn one. We'll see if Andrew's able to make a move. As that gap is opening up once again, we're over a half second, over 6/10 now. Just crossing start-finish line there. As they go into turn one.
Leaving him.
Yep. Just want to do a note. Franklin Edwards here started in 11th. He's up 5 positions. He's in 6th place in the AM class. So a very good drive for him so far in that purple and yellow Corvette. So thank you, Franklin, for keeping it so clean. You're up 5 positions, man. Keep at it. You still got 35 minutes to go.
You can do it.
We believe in you, Franklin. So in front of Matt Salkup is Emil 2, who had an incident earlier in the race. Yep, he's just going to stay to the outside and let the leaders pass through. Probably a good call from him.
Oh.
Sorry, I was switched back to Matt before Andrew cleared him there. That is a tough area to try to pass somebody through and stay out of their way. Another back marker. All right,
Looks like
so
he's going in for some
yep.
tires.
Well, he can't take tires. He's going in for fuel, and so is Emil 2 behind him.
That's right.
So Matt
My
Stallcup's
apologies.
yeah,
Right.
Matt Stallcup's going to go off on his own here as Kyle Shook in 5th. And he takes a little bit of grass there, maybe to cool down his tires or something. I don't know what that was. Andrew Lanning has a meatball. What just happened?
Well, he did make contact with Emil Toe. I don't know if there was damage that caused the meatball flag. I am not 100% sure. No race control comms, but we are seeing him leave now.
I'm gonna go back just a little bit, see what happened, because that meatball came up late. See if we see some contact in the pits. I know they were close together. Yeah, I don't know why that meatball came up. That's very interesting. We'll jump back to live as he is going around 100R right now. Just chalk that up, and now he's back in the 6th place. Obviously, he had to stop for he stopped for fuel, so he's going to be far back. I hope he has enough fuel in that Ford GT to make it to the end without having to stop again. This not being nearly as large as a track as Circuit de la Sarthe or Bathurst, I don't think they'll need 2 stops, but it's always a possibility.
Definitely a possibility. And I'm also hearing comms. Andrew Lanning is talking to race control about the incident with the back marker, Emil Toe. I believe that was the cause of the meatball flag. So we're going to see a decision from race control here in a little bit. Possibly.
Yeah, Emil Toe back in 10th place in the AM class. Jeremiah Sodden out. Howard Rawlings are both out. So Emil Toe, the last of the guys. Where'd he go? Okay, there he is. Last of the cars running in the AM class. He's 2 laps down, so he was involved in an incident earlier in the race. Drake Smith, who was on pole, he's in 5th. He is 10 seconds behind Kyle Shook, who is in 4th in the pro class. As we saw that incident on lap 2. Going into that first corner. Like I said, you're going down from such a high speed. You're at the top of 6th gear. Like I said, when your tires are warm and when your brakes are warm, I was braking at the 125 board. So if you have a little bit of draft, especially with the BMW having that straight line speed and the draft, might have just been a situation of, as he overcooks it.
Oh no. Unfortunate for Drake Smith. Just touching that curb a little bit too much. It's over rotating the car. It's just unfortunate stuff. Happens to all of us.
Yeah, it's one of the things I remember from when I drove this. It was actually in the BMW, BMW GT3, and I remember. I mean, this was back when I first started iRacing, so I didn't know what I was doing. I'm perfectly happy with it, admitting that. I absolutely destroyed the tires at this circuit. That final sector just eats them up. So we might see a lot of that moving forward as the tires. I mean, like I said, we're not even halfway through this race, or we're like just barely halfway through this race. These guys are going to have to make these tires last the rest of the race. So we might see a lot more tail sliding from these drivers. So Ash Harper making his way through 100R into the hairpin. He's in 4th in the AM class. Jump up to Jacob Winslow. Oh man,
Question for you, TJ.
That's just, I'm sorry, that's such a cool look. those pillars being lit up. What were you saying else?
I'm pretty sure some of these cars are turbocharged and some of them are naturally aspirated. But the humidity being so high, will the naturally aspirated cars have an advantage or vice versa? What do you think?
You know, I honestly couldn't tell you if iRacing puts that much into the sim. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure. It's a good question though. So I remember
Well,
when
you have more experience.
I remember the one of the first times I drove the Miata at Daytona. I had actually just watched the Spec Miata race, the real one in real life, and I noticed that before the heavy braking zones, the Miata drivers were tapping the brakes because they have floating brake calipers to set the pads against the rotor. And I remember asking Andre from Drive Trainer Motorsports, hey, does iRacing have to do that? And he said they don't have that modeled. So I don't know if the humidity would help or hurt versus naturally aspirated versus turbocharged. So that is a good question. I'm not entirely sure. This is an open setup series, so it could just be a situation of they got the proper balance of downforce to, lack of downforce for the slipstream. So that's a good question, though. I'm going to have to look into that later to see if I can have an answer for you on our next broadcast.
I would definitely not be surprised. iRacing is a great simulation. They like to be very detailed. They might have done that. That's why I was asking. You have a lot more experience on the iRacing sim, so I was thinking you may know, but we'll go into some research for that.
Glenn Pino, 8th in the AM class, is within 2 seconds of Nate Hollistick. So yeah, you got Cookie Monster in between Nate and Glenn Pino. And Cookie Monster is a Xavier Page, who is 2nd place in the AM class. So what a drive he's had so far. If you remember earlier, I said Franklin Edwards had been up 5 places. Let's change that to 6. He is 5th in the AM class. So he is just keeping out. He's all by himself on that front straight. You can see on the track map, he's got no one around him. So he is just staying out of trouble, and he's got a top 5 right now. So let's see if he's able to reel in. He's got quite a bit to go to Ash Harper. He's got 28 seconds, 27 and a half seconds. See what's going on with our leader. He's pulled a 14-second gap on Blaze Scheid. Our leader of the AM class, Cassie, is doing quite well. I have a feeling that she will be promoted after this. Almost 10-second lead on Xavier Page in the Cookie Monster car. Mark Blizzard dives in the pits for his fuel stop. I think that was 3 to 4 laps after Andrew Lanning did. So he might have dove in because of that damage, because they do get a fast repair. So he might have decided, you know what, I'm going to dive in now. I can make it to the end. Maybe he'll be able to finish on fumes or something like that. But I got to get this damage fixed because, he had a meatball and it could have been affecting his lap times.
Yeah, getting past lap traffic in the twisty sections on this track, there's going to be contact at some point. It's just the way the track is. You got to use all of it, and it's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah, and like I said, with these cars having no ABS and a lot of these corners, ideally you brake in a straight line with these cars, especially in the slower speed corners, because you don't have the downforce to help prevent that lockup. So, yeah, I love that livery with the driver on the side. That's hilarious. Yeah, so these corners, especially that final sector, a lot of non-straight line braking, which, like I said, as the tires start to wear, you might see more and more mistakes happen from these drivers. I struggled in the Corvette, so these guys, much older, as you see Andrew Lanning going around that back marker there. He's still, I saw him sliding a little bit here and there. He's keeping it pretty tidy. saw something happen to Franklin Edwards there. We're going to jump to, it said Mike Corrin crash. We're going to see what happened with that real quick. Oh, yep. Oh, yep. He stayed out of the wall at least. But yeah, just again, overcooking that. That corner specifically is, it's uphill and right at the edge of the apex there. It's kind of like the crest of a little hill before it goes back again uphill into that final 180. So gotta be careful. Rear end just
the
wants
crest
to come
of the
around
hill
on you.
yeah, because the crest. You're going over, you're getting those negative G's. There's going to be less grip on the tires.
Absolutely. Franklin Edwards stopped for his fuel. I think he was just going slow at that initial part of the track just to stay out of the way of the leaders. Dropped back down to 8th, but we'll see if Glenn Pino and Nate Halstick in front of him within 10 seconds, so not something that is out of reach for Franklin Edwards. Matt Stallcup, after that initial 2 laps, has kind of been by himself. When Andrew Lanning came back towards the end there, had a little bit of contact with that back marker, and he's got almost 17 seconds back to Blaze Scheid. So Kyle Shook in 3rd position in the pro class. And then Drake Smith has worked his way back up into 4th. We saw him spin a little bit later. We just happened to be on him when he overcooked it, going into that section before the final set of corners there. And I mean, still, what a recovery drive from him after that incident in the 2nd lap going into turn 1.
I am curious, TJ, what was behind the choice of not allowing a tire change? Is that just to make it more strategic, or?
I'm not entirely sure. As we see the front runners, we got a bunch of them jumping into the pit lane here. Look at everyone doing their pit stops. So Andrew Lanning did that pit stop super early. I do know that there had been previous leagues where Dakota didn't allow tire changes. Actually, one of the GT4 leagues I was in at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, I actually drove the McLaren GT4. The front left had 0% tire left and actually blew out, and I couldn't get it fixed because they wouldn't change tires. As we see Blaze Scheid and Miss Casey Hempy coming out of the pits. Andrew Lanning back up into 2nd, so that early pit stop did help him, but he is 47 seconds behind Matt Stallcup. And that explains it. Matt Stallcup going into the pits on lap 21. So I want to say it was 6 laps ago that Andrew went in.
Must be coming in just for a splash. It's like the other guys, I think.
So Andrew Lanning is going through that final sector here as he comes around the final corner. Matt Stallcup, you can see down on the bottom right of your screen, it is down to under 11 seconds as he is back underway. I don't know if it's going to be enough for Andrew Lanning, though, to catch up. See Mark Blizzard in his BMW, a 4th in the Pro class. With that enormous hat with the fisheye lens on his photo, his driver photo. Everyone's pretty spaced out. I mean, there's a couple people that are being passed, but they're in different classes, so we don't have anyone for position that's really all that close. So Kyle Shook is under 4 seconds to Mark Blizzard. So Drake Smith. Oh, goodness, what was happening there? It's Ash Harper. Nope, that was not Ash Harper. That was a back marker. Sorry about that. We saw one of the cars. I don't know if they were just trying to get out of the way or if they had it off and were trying to rejoin, not in the way, but they were going significantly slower than this group.
Could be the tires. It might be eating up the tires. People are just struggling. Just could be just the tires causing that to happen.
Absolutely. So we got less than 10 minutes left in this session. We're 23 laps in. We've seen a few divers dive in for a splash, so apparently their fuel calculators were telling them, hey, we need to stop for more fuel if we want to make it to the end, so they wanted to do it earlier than later. Or they might have been coming up on lap traffic and just figured it was easier to get the pit stop done and deal with that lap traffic later with a lighter fuel load. So let's see what happens with that. Oh, Brian Froh.
Ooh.
Brian Froh goes off right in front of Matt Stallcup. I think you are 100% right, Els. I think these tires are starting to just jump off a cliff here. I think, like I said, in my experience in the BMW, this track just absolutely ate tires up. I think that's what's happening with these guys here as we see more and more people just having offs, having spins. And their self spins too. Let's see, Lance Shellhorn.
Yeah, with no tire change. With no tire change, these guys are going to struggle all the way to the end. We're going to see their pace drop significantly, and as we're seeing it, it's just happening. Brakes, lock up, all sorts of things happen when your tires are gone.
That was Lance Shellhorn in that final sector, just overcooking that Corvette. Now I'll be the first to admit I only did about 8 laps, so I don't know how some of these drivers are able to drive. I had all the grip in the world, I had fresh tires, so these guys, if I didn't have the grip that I had in those first 8 laps, I definitely would have struggled. Then add in other cars on track that you're trying to either defend or attack, and you're just going to have a recipe for people having offs and spins. So see if these drivers, if a couple of these drivers might get a couple late places if someone has a spin or an off and a really bad spot on track.
Gap is now about 9 seconds back to Andrew Lanning. 9.5 seconds. Don't know if he'll be able to make that up in the amount of time left in this race, about 6 or 7 minutes.
We got Blaze Scheid and Cassie Hempy. I keep saying Casey. It's Cassie. Cassie Hempy are really close to one another. Cassie obviously being the AM leader at this point in time. Blaze Scheid third in the pro class. And once again, I think we still that Ford GT is just It's just better. It's better in the corners right now. As Cassie goes a little wide
Superior.
there. It is a good looking car too. I've always had a thing for the Ford GTs. They're just a fantastic looking car.
I have to agree with you there. And this track is very interesting because the long straight and the twisty bits, it's like they really thought about it. They were like, hey, how can we make this track very interesting? And not very much experience with this track myself, and now seeing it for the first time it's really interesting.
Yep. And then, interestingly enough, as we've said that, Blaze Scheid taking a look on Cassie here through that last sector. He's got a good run down the front straight, and that is Franklin Edwards in front of them. All right, we're side by side with a back marker in front of both of them. Blaze flashing the headlights. Cassie's going to be on the outside here, so she's going to lose out, and with the back marker coming in, Blaze is going to take the third overall position with Cassie. She's in fourth overall, but first in the AM class. Like I said, I think Cassie is due for a promotion here. She is definitely going toe-to-toe with the pro class podium finishers, as we got less than 5 minutes left in this session. Cassie
goes up the inside.
Cassie, once again, we're getting some leapfrog here as we're back on the twisty bits. So for GT advantage, and then once we get to the front straight, if Blaze can keep within drafting range and maybe even farther back of that Ford GT, he will probably be able to overtake going into turn one again. So we see here, this is the left-hander before the final right-hander, and Blaze has, almost contact there. I couldn't tell, Els, was there contact there? I couldn't tell from this camera angle as it just happened too fast.
I did not see contact there. I think it was just a little bit of a squirrel because of the tires. As usual, we've been talking about the tires. These guys are struggling.
We're under 3.5 minutes left in this session.
You can see that BMW just reel them in.
Absolutely.
All down the straight.
Cassie goes a little wide there. We're going to take a look at Drake Smith and Kyle Shook. Drake Smith has reeled Kyle Shook in. He's within 2 seconds. This will be for 5th in the pro class. So while Blaze and Cassie were essentially just fighting for 3rd overall, they can pass each other back and forth as much as they want. They're not in the same class this round, at least. But if Drake is... Now it's getting close to 1 1/4 second, so we might see some late drama here for 5th place in the pro class. Again, Drake Smith set the pole setting time, so he definitely knows his track well and has pace. So again, Kyle Shook coming up on a back marker, and that is probably going to close that gap down. As Franklin Edwards, he's just getting out of the way. Doesn't want any part of the AM fight. It's now from 1 1/4 down to 1 second.
Got about 2 minutes in the race. This could be white flag or close to an ultimate lap.
I did not see the white flag wave. I think this might be penultimate for these guys. Matt Stallcup going around the Dunlop curve for corner for the final time. We're going to jump back to Drake and Kyle. If this is the final lap, I don't think it is. I don't think he's going to be able to get it done, as we still have a full minute left on the timer. And Matt is just now coming around that final corner, so I think he's going to do one more, just in case it is the final lap. We're going to jump to him. We'll see if that checker... Oh, right behind him. We see Lance Shellhorn self-spin on that last corner. I think his tires are fully cooked. We'll see if the checker flag comes up here. I don't think it will. That will be the white flag. All right, so white flag. Let's jump back to Kyle Shook and Drake Smith as they are now nose to tail here, coming onto that front mile-long front straight. Let's see if something happens going into turn one. Kyle trying to break the draft here on Drake. Let's see if Kyle tries to defend on the inside. Yeah, I was going to say, if he's going to defend on the inside, he's just going to make him choose. He started off in the middle and then didn't see him go to the inside, so he just moved out to the outside. Drake still right behind him, less than a quarter of a second. Oh boy, let's see if we're going to see some fireworks here. To go through Coca-Cola for the final time. Oh, almost alongside, going through 100R. Let's see if he tries to move into the hairpin here. He does. He goes to the inside. Drake Smith going to get Kyle Shook under, breaking into that hairpin on the inside. Great move from him. Great battling. Once again, this is, I think, the third time we've seen Kyle Shook in a great battle at the end of the race. Unfortunate for him this time that he ended up losing the position, but great move from Drake Smith. So we're going to jump to Matt Stallcup real quick as he is taking the checkered flag. He is your overall winner and pro class first place tonight here at Fuji Speedway. Andrew Lanning coming across the line in second. Cassie, your AM class leader, with Blaze Sheed still fighting her. Photo finish for third overall. So Blaze Shade gets third in the AM class. Mark Blizzard getting fourth. Drake Smith fifth. Kyle Shook, we just saw that position get taken. Jacob Winslow comes second in the AM class. Congratulations to him, with Xavier Page right behind him. That rounds out your top three for both classes. Wow. I bet, oh man, as we do see, part of this league is if you go towards the end at the end of turn one, you can go ahead and just destroy each other. But man, I don't envy these guys towards the end here. I mean, this just had to be tough.
Had to be tough. It wasn't even a hot day. It's just the nature of this track. It's just two sides of a coin. You got the twisty bits that are eating up your tires, and then the long straight, and you're getting past into turn one. It's just, what a track, what a race.
Yeah, what a race, and in such awesome cars and with awesome drivers. So we do have Matt Stallcup, our pro and overall leader. We're gonna pop him in here real quick and get his thoughts. Hey, Matt, congratulations on your win tonight on round 4 at Fuji Speedway. A little bit hairy there in the first couple laps, but you kind of walked away with it after that.
Man, tonight it was not about who could go the fastest, but who could keep the car the cleanest. There was so many incidents right next to me. It was scary. Every lap car, every corner. I even spun in one of the corners. I feel like tonight was just attrition. Who could keep it pointed the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. Without those tire changes, I mean, we saw about 15 minutes into the session, people were starting to self-spin and having some trouble. Andrew Lanning, who was behind you for a little bit there, we saw him sliding around trying to get by you, and we were just thinking, oh man, they can't change tires. We're only 15 minutes in. This could be a huge problem later in the race, and just as you said, that seemed to be the problem. Any part of the track specifically that was extra challenging for you?
the last what 3 turns, 4 turns, 11 through 14 had my
Yeah.
number all night. Yesterday when I practiced, I felt real good through there. The braking shapes were good, but tonight I don't know, but I did not have the braking for those corners.
Yeah, I was telling Els that I do an onboard lap for the broadcast. That sector is just so tight and technical, especially with these cars with no ABS. A lot of non-straight line braking. It's tough. So it was exciting to watch you guys go through that. I understand why that was the difficult portion of the track for you. But huge congratulations on your win. Again, you made it look easy. I know you did have that self spin, but otherwise it looked like you were just in a class of your own out there with a 12-second gap to second place Andrew Lanning, who is nothing to sneeze at. So huge congratulations to you, Matt. Any shout outs you'd like to throw out there?
I'd like to give a shout out to my wife and my dog crew chief who was running fuel numbers for me this evening, and the wife who kept me fed for the race. And she actually just threw me a post-race treat, which is a Hostess Swiss roll. So, yay me.
Well, congratulations on your Hostess Swiss roll and on your win tonight. We will see you next week at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. So congratulations again.
Thank you, guys.
I don't see anyone else in the interview booth, but final thoughts, Els, on this race? I mean, I think we covered a lot of it. It was just, man, this track just eats up tires.
Yeah, I got to give Dakota his props, man. He knows how to put together a league and a session and a race, because, I mean, I never thought that this track would even be that difficult to begin with. Just looking at the layout, just the way it is, it just looks like a whatever track. But you put in the fact that there's no tire changes, you're on these cars with no ABS, and you got downforce cars, you got big engine M8s. It goes for an interesting race, and we're seeing it here tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed that here on Odyssey Motorsport TV at the KCRL League race here, and hope to see you on the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, we saw that high humidity. Again, we're gonna have to look into that to see if the turbocharged versus NA cars are affected by that high humidity. But definitely something I'm interested to find out, because a couple different times in some other sessions, we kind of, during a replay, looked at the inside of the GR86, and the detail is pretty insane. But I wonder if that humidity does play a difference or not. Obviously, this, as you can see from the shots on track, it is becoming nighttime here, so I wonder if that played into it as well. We got those awesome shots of the Ford GT with that lit up rear quarter panel buttress. Really, really cool looking car. But yeah, no, it was actually really impressive to see these guys keep it together as much as they did. We know we had a couple self spins and off tracks, but I can tell you just from my experience with this car at this track, it is that third sector, that final sector, is an absolute bear to wrestle. So congrats to all our winners. To just run through the top 6 of both classes real fast. Matt Stallcup, your overall and pro class winner. Andrew Lanning, second place in the pro class. Blaze Scheid comes in third. Mark Blizzard, fourth. Drake Smith in fifth. Sixth place is Kyle Shook. Why don't you go ahead and read off the AM class top 6 Els?
In the AM class, we have Cassie Hempy, Miss Cassie Hempy. And in second place, we have Jacob Winslow. Third place, we have Xavier Page. Fourth place, we have Ash Harper. Fifth place, we have Brian Froh. And in sixth place, Nate Palistek, excuse me.
Yep, I'm just going to pull up the last bit there. Seventh place was Glenn Pino. Franklin Edwards was in eighth place. Emil 2, ninth place. 10th place was Michael Corrin, and I believe that was... nope. Yeah, Mike Corrin was the last that finished the race. So Jeremiah Sauter and Howard Rollins were out pretty early in the race. So that is going to conclude our coverage of round 4 of the Kansas City Racing League Season 9 here at Fuji Speedway. So thank you so much to Dakota for joining us pre-race and giving his thoughts on how they are managing this unique league. and for the rest of his crew for being part of Live Race Control. So I am TJ Yankee.
And I'm Lesean Young-Dilworth.
And that is going to conclude our broadcast tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Next week is at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit in these GTE cars. Stay tuned for the next broadcast on Odyssey Motorsports TV.